Would you talk to the doctor? Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Talk to the Doctor. And you know what? I have the special and great opportunity today to be sitting with my good friend, incredible artist and brother of all time, Roy Gonzalez, is here with us in the flesh today, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to do a deep dive into stories behind his art. And I think it's going to be amazing. So I want to say welcome and hello to you, Roy.
What's up, Joe? I'm back in the hot seat.
So I just want to say how stoked I am to have you with us. I know you've been through a lot in the last few months. You're looking great. And it is my pleasure to bring this episode to everyone who keeps asking me, how's Roy doing? And I'm saying, well, let me show you. Let's bring him on and show you guys how good he's doing. Want to tell us a little bit about what you went through recently?
Not really, but no, I just want to give thanks to all my friends and family and all the love I got to get me through it. But I just got an infection that just kept getting weirder, and everything started. It was gnarly, and so that was a couple months, I believe. So I'm looking better because I gained some weight.
You are looking better. You look great, actually.
Oh Lordy, that was crazy. But I've had, I think the last time we were talking about. I was making fun of the 9 lives, 10 lives me and Christian and Archy have. Next thing I know, I'm checking into the fight of my life, because when you're so weak, it's different than you got to go, wait a second, how can I fight when I can't even raise my hands? But made it through it, and thank you all my good friends and family for giving me the love and support that really made me get through it. I say, I ain't going to let this shit beat me. So I'm clean as a whistle and doing good.
Let's say cheers to that, man.
Yeah.
It's great to have you with us. And I got to say, you're looking good. And I think you're looking better than you did before you even kind of went down into that.
I got my bifocals on. I got my eyes all fixed. And then and my body went to shit, but hard living. So now I can see. I'm back to, it took me 40 years to get prescriptions, but I had to do it. So there we go.
There we go. So well, you know what?
I'm going to look at my art. I got to be able to see it.
That, and so stoked to have you back and with us. And here we are for the only individual that, at least so far, I've done part 2. You know, we did an original episode with you last season, and here we are now this season. So stoked you're with us. And we're going to do today an awesome thing of, like, let's look at some of your favorite pieces of your art. Our favorite too. You know, we both selected these together, and let's talk like the stories behind the art. Let's start off with that piece, Highway 1, which I've always thought was quintessential Roy Gonzalez. Early Roy Gonzalez really shows your spirit, and I just really feel like it's just an awesome way to start.
It was my first piece that I actually, in my life, that I made a print of, and I said, well, I guess I'm supposed to sell my art, so I put it in every surf shop, and from there Abraham was doing a tribute to the greats, so Lance Carson and Tube Steak, and we all got this thing at Malibu. It was incredible. Everyone was there. Bruce Brown, Greg Knoll, I mean, you could name them. I got mine, Highway 1 signed, but it turned out to be the poster for that event and given away at the beach, so I felt really proud.
What year was that?
Gosh, I drew that years before, and put it on consignment, like 82-ish or something like that. And I believe Abraham's contest, well, let's say when we opened the surf spot, so it was right around 87 or something.
Yeah, okay. So that kind of was the 87.
And Gidget was there, and I look at my poster of it, it's all beat up, but it's still like, wow, there's Dankula, there's Ben Ipa, God rest them all.
These are all the people that signed the poster.
Yeah, Mike Hinson, everyone. The only one that wasn't there was Dora. And
because where was Dora? He left for 30 years.
He showed up at Tube's house, and me and Spencer and who else? God, it was me, Spence. We went golfing with them. We took him.
I think I remember hearing about that, yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, so there was a Dora sighting, and you guys got to spend time and go golfing and hang out with.
Well, Tube called us. Mickey Dora's at my house right now. He wants to golf. When Tube called, we'd just jump in. Yeah, let's go. Oh, it was Abraham Paskowitz. Yeah, me, Abe, and Spence. And
where'd you guys go golf?
San Clemente Golf Course.
Sick.
Yeah, and so So Dora was a trip. And then,
God, I wish someone would have took photos of that one.
Yeah, then we take them out to dinner at Taco O's, and of all people, there's the epitome of contests and the epitome of just the rebel. So Corky's there, Corky Carroll. We come walking in, and Corky sees it like he saw a ghost. No one's seen Dora for Mickey, what are you doing here? And Mickey goes, having sushi. I was trying to say who he reminded me of. It was Batman. He'd always be like, are you gonna eat? Having sushi. And then just walk by like he didn't care.
He's just so classic, you know.
Yeah, what a trip.
Growing up, he was always this guy that was mystified me as a youth, you know. With the Highway 1 piece, that's quite an amazing story early on.
It was just the freedom. I mean, I just remember that feeling of ditching school, basically, and just surfing the coast. And, you know, Terry Sennett and Max McDonald, guys like that, I'd jump in the back seat and, you know, get contact high just from being there. But we'd go to all the WSA contests, and from San Clemente, we'd take off to, you know, all the way to Santa Cruz, you know. And so to get good or to get up those standings, you had to be there. Your heat could be at 6 o'clock in the morning, so you got to get to Steamer's Lane and be there. And we don't got no money for hotels. We got enough gas money. So, and then if you win, you get a plastic trophy. So that was hard.
Before the days there was much money in surfing, you know. It was kind of pre-money.
You thought that they were all. Larry Bertelman's about the smartest, getting a sponsorship from people that started it. It's like, hey, that's a good idea. But yeah, it was.
I mean, yeah.
I thought that Jerry Lopez hung out with Elvis and Jimi Hendrix. They all went to, you know, Playboy Mansion. But surfers were my stars. They didn't have it. They were
didn't have any
broke
money.
in a joke.
Yeah, but they had the best lifestyle.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so.
And they looked and appeared truly to be the happiest ones. So even though
that's what we were blessed about. Like, you cannot imagine the North Shore back when Herbie and all those guys were there, and we got it right after in Maui in like the 70s, and oh my God, you just can't buy that. It's gone. It's a magic moment. Yeah, that was bitchin' time.
Such an awesome time. Yeah. So
that's what the Highway 1 was to me, just the freedom of like, I'm just going to go. And then you never know. You're going to roll in. Some days are closed out and you drive around all morning and then you still get wet. But then sometimes you come around the corner and it's just firing like, oh my God. And you're just
magic.
Happiest guy. You come back to the real world, or what they say is the real world, and you're just glowing and so happy that you've just been barreled all morning. And people are like, what's this guy so happy about?
Yeah, because we glowed through certain experiences like that. So, a quick interruption. It's called Question of the Week. And we're going to the Goldie, mate. And I want to know, who do you think's going to win the Snapper contest this year? Leave a comment and back to the show. Let's touch base on the next piece, which Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is such an awesome piece of art. And I think talking with that would just be so cool to know a little bit more about what's behind the inspiration for that and what was going on at that particular time.
I've always had that in my head. Mother Nature, I just feel like it's just, there's so much greed in the planet and for the next generation. And so I just figured, what is Mother Earth? What is God? What does he think about what's the priority in people's lives? It's how many Gucci bags they can get, designer this, that, all labels. And it just shows it's a dog-eat-dog world, and everyone's trying to get to. I don't have it here in front of me to remember, but it's held up by a Mickey Mouse crutch, and it's all so fragile that it could go at any time, especially right now as we speak. Who knows what the hell is going on in the Middle East? And that again is the elites, getting their money, power. And so that was just my piece of kind of like checking yourself, checking what you can do to be a better person and help the earth for the next generation. We're here to, how would you say, it's almost use it, share it, and make it even better for the next generation. I don't feel people have definitely forgot that theory. And so that's where she's with the gas mask and breathing. And the weird thing is the chemicals coming out, which turned into that was done, and I was at the trade show, and so that came out as a big poster and T-shirts and everything for the trade show, and the next day was 9/11.
Whoa.
Next morning was 9/11, and so that come out in a magazine piece. And when Bob Hurley saw me later, he thought I was a freak. He goes, Roy, how the hell did you come up? He thought, who's the guy, Nostradamus or something?
Yeah.
I go, I don't know, man. I was just feeling it, but I didn't expect, I didn't believe in 9/11 anyway. That was bullshit. The same power deal. But it changed the whole world. That day changed a lot of things.
A lot of things shifted since that day. And I feel like you got a divine inspiration to write that in a time, obviously, it sounds like at a time when, geez, I mean.
No, that was crazy.
Crazy timing, I mean.
Then the chemicals came out later with the whole, another,
I don't know, yeah, this
scamdemic. So and that's, so that piece is timely. It keeps getting,
it keeps having relevance, let's put it that way, right?
Exactly.
But moving on to, I think something that's a little lighter and, more of the fun side and Attack of the Killer Waves, right? I mean, that's just like, wow, that's just such a big, wow, cartoony, amazing deal. Let's hear a little bit about that.
That was for the comic book. Me and Sal Pasquez did the Surf Craze comics. That was one of the covers. We'd switch off. You get a cover, I get a cover. It was fun. Good times.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. I remember that, right? You guys would switch back and forth. And
yeah, we'd get other artists, and it was just graphics, because I was so down. He was more like Spider-Man, Wolverine. And I was like Rick Griffin, Ogden, Crumb, all the underground stuff.
You can see those influences clearly.
So it was definitely a mix of like Superman meets the Fabulous Freak Brothers.
Totally. Oh my gosh! And what's cool is we just had.
And they all went surfing.
We just had Salvador in. We just taped an episode, shot an episode a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God, Caveman Joe, how are you doing?
It's just so amazing to have him in here, and just to have you again for this, and just after having him with these, making his films now,
yeah, he's good.
And he's got a lot of neat stuff going on.
It's too much.
And so do you. And so.
Oh, he came in and saw me. That was another beautiful thing. There's Sally when I was my deathbed. You're calling me to do a second show. I go, Joe, I'm dying right now. I'm sorry. I'll call you back. There's Salvador. You can't die, Roy Gonzalez. I haven't seen you. What are you doing here? It was a trip. The people who showed up. But
Let's
anyway,
talk a little bit about behind the motivation for Attack of the Killer Waves. And just what was happening at that time.
It was a story. It was the same kind of a theme. There's a jerk that cares about nothing. His name was Slash Jordan, and he was like a pirate. It was almost, he was just out to go surf and grab chicks and go to islands to pillage, and so he goes to Vegenesia, which is a planet.
Vegenesia?
Yeah, and that's where Kid Natural lived, and the Vegenesians. And because it was all petroleum, everything, the land turned against him. So that's where the wave was, the killer wave.
Was rebelling.
Yeah, revolting. Right? Yeah. So the village all came out, and they were gonna. So that was gonna be but that was a drawing of it, and then I ended up. It was funny. So then I went to Maui, and then Laird was into surfing Jaws, and he's like, "Man, why don't you give that to me? I'm doing Jaws. It'd be perfect." I go, Laird, I don't wake up every morning and say, "Well, I wonder what Laird's doing." I did that 20 years ago. I didn't know.
That's so funny.
You're too big now. Don't hurt me. Then it went from there. Fuel TV called me, or Fox Television, and wanted me to do something. And I don't know why I picked that. I said, "Oh, I could animate that." So
it's a cool one.
Yeah, and then they wanted a big piece for their what was it? A magazine. They're putting ads out, and so then it became print. So that was out, and then out of the blue, they called me and they said, "You're number 3 in the Broadcasting Design Awards." It's a huge deal. It's like the Oscars or something.
Is that the Oscars of like art Oscars in a sense?
Yeah, I'm against like Hugh Hefner. I'm against MTV, Howard Stern. I'm looking at the list like, Jesus Christ, how did I get up there? Little surfer guy. And so they say I'm in the top echelons. I go, well, I don't even know what this is. And so then the jerks didn't even tell me that it's a big award ceremony in New York and all this. And then they call me up and they say, you won. I go, I won? I won the gold for the artwork and silver for the animation for the Fox television thing. And so I went there, me and Trig, like country mouse going to L.A. Trig was was breaking the world record. God rest Trig. And so he's at MTV and getting his meeting, and I'm at Fox Television going to receive my award. And when I got there, they said, I go, all right, man, I can't wait to give this to my mom so she doesn't think I'm a total loser. And they go, oh, yeah, well, we bought that for you. I mean, we put you in, so that one will cost you $3,000. I go, $3,000. That's $6,000 for two, and I won. I got the.
You got to buy your own trophies?
Yeah, they want me to buy the trophies, and I said, well, that's a big trophy, man. Will that fit up your ass?
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in the parking lot, all eggy and pissed off, and Trig comes out from MTV, and he's all bummed out because they wanted to give him like nothing, like a monkey in a cage to almost kill himself like Evel Knievel. So then Trig's like, okay, I got it, Chuck. We'll just go in there. You get his attention. I'll steal him out of the I go, no, Trig, we're not going to L.A. County with the Crips and the Bloods to
get our own trophies.
My Vato cousins, to get a trophy, they can keep it. So that's the story behind that.
Wow, that's a pretty colorful time in life. I mean, I could just see it. Very, very visual thinker. So I think about, you and Trig going through that. I feel like, I could just, that's a really.
Yeah, and he was, Trig, he was down. He was already, he was scheming.
Raw as it gets, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, once in my life, I thought reality. No, dude, nothing's worse.
Yeah, come on.
L.A. County.
You guys could just, have fun and come back down south.
That's
and,
what we did.
Yeah, good for you guys. Well, what about the Elvis piece?
Well, I did a lot of people that I just liked. I mean, I liked Elvis's style. It was just like, I wasn't there with Elvis, but his cat clothes, his whole deal. I always felt bad that he died all Vegased out right when the whole cool Stray Cats and
was coming back.
Everyone was there. It's like, damn, Elvis, they're all copying you. So he was just somebody that I felt sorry for him too, getting sucked into the whole, Hollywood bullshit, and he's just the plastic puppet, and he's like a little country boy. But when he was raw, it was punk rock. I mean, it was like real, like the Clash was punk rock, and you had the, the pop stuff. And I thought punk was, anti-establishment. It wasn't.
So you saw Elvis initially as an anti-establishment as well, because he was right in a totally different way.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
He was anti-establishment, and I see a trend in your work, and I feel the same. Myself, is that there's a love for the rebels. Mickey, Dora, Elvis. We'll go further in that as we approach Christian and Archy, and there's a love for the people that kind of go against the grain, that as they say, dance to the beat of their own drum or whatever, want to do their own thing. And you as an artist, I want to say, completely represent that, because you've always done what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I can draw it, and other people can sing it, and other people can do it, and you combine it all together. We're all kind of cut from the same cloth, so we all get along. And different, skaters are hanging with bikers, and how it was. Even in San Clemente, the jocks hated the surfers. The surfers were getting beaten up by the Marines. The Marines were getting beat up by the bikers. And, so it was people in town. People don't realize, like, my mom and dad, like, don't go to the pier. Pier was rough, and there's Dino and those little kids, but the bikers were all there. The biker bar right across the street, and the Marines were there, and you'd go by the the bus stop with all the Marines getting off, and we'd fuck you, Jarhead. It was
a raw time. It was a really raw
good
time.
Old times.
You want to tell us any more about the Elvis piece in terms of like when you were drawing it, or just what was going on?
I just loved Elvis, and I got Sinatra, just all the guys I thought were cool. And it ended up ruining me because I was too much time trying to be Sinatra and the Rat Pack. But yeah, I just dug all that old cool music, and Elvis was just the epitome of cool, I thought.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything but truth to that one. I mean, you know, no one can deny that.
Yeah,
no one even attempts to deny that.
Yeah, like Whitney Houston, like she said, her mom used to be backup singer. She's like a little kid, and she goes, it was the weirdest thing. He'd just walk in and the whole room, and he didn't have to say anything. He just like, and he was so nice. You'd expect this guy to, and he's like, hey, you want candy? What are you doing? You know, he's just really down to earth, which I think makes when someone you idolize or you look up to, and they're even nicer and humbler than you thought. Because how many times do your heroes let you down? Like, God, that guy's a jerk.
Yeah, no, it happened to me once. He wasn't my hero, but yeah.
Yeah, not a hero, but
it's just someone you thought was
Yeah, you respect, and then you disrespect it. So I just always try to know my roots and know where I came from, and try to be as positive and as give good energy to people that I meet. And
you do, you do. And I feel like you've spread a lot of love and inspiration in your life through your personality and through your art. And as referenced by when you were just going through this health challenge, you know, you witnessed in real, true form a lot of love that was coming out of the woodwork for you.
Oh, that was,
Like, so I mean, that's tangible, real.
Right,
exactly. And so
even my old girlfriend showed up. I go, oh my God.
I know you were mentioning that.
Halfway dead.
But I mean, just everyone, and so many people even calling me, texting me, how's Roy, what's up? And just a lot of concern, a lot of love. And so with that said, I mean, that's what's so cool to be able to do this right now, because I feel like it's a great episode to be able to talk not only about your art, but to show the world how, you know, you're doing good. It's my pleasure to be able to do that. And I think, like, as we're moving forward, would that be straight into Mr. Tiki?
That was kind of like that same feeling with the Coast Highway where I had the freedom. But then you're living in the tropics and you're just like, wow, this is... So that's my own little cartoon of the cave right there, that little magic spot where you could follow the guys. But that was just that Hawaii feeling. I mean, it was nothing like it. You'd smell plumeriums.
Plumeria.
And it was just beautiful. It was just like there's no, like the Hawaiians say, there's Hawaiian time, cuz, you know, you're not checking your watch. There's no road rage. Probably nowadays there is. God, poor Lahaina, that was terrible too. That was tears. But that's kind of that feeling, and it's kind of what goes along with the Kid Natural thing. It's just all pure, you know, it's just like I wish the world could have stayed, or I'm not saying how it was, I'm saying how it'll never be again.
Yeah.
In the words of the great Pete Peterson. Yeah, it's just, I try to get just a escape picture that people can look into and just kind of like
escapism.
Yeah. That's what you do when you write, when you draw, when you paint, when you do a song that just gets you away from, you know.
Totally.
You just kind of groove on, I want to listen to that song again. I've been listening to oldies, I was listening to the news, like, okay, are we going to die today? Is it World War III? I said, man, I can't handle this anymore. And so I put on, you know, Barbara Mason and all the old, you know, hello, stranger. And now they're like Bruno Mars is doing it. So I just love
does, yeah.
Yeah, so that soul, like, bam, get away, and it's real singing, and I love it. So I'm going to start a soul band with get some people. But yeah, that was.
So that's what's behind Mr. Tiki for you. Back to the freedom vibe, back to the escapism, back to fun.
Yeah, that's a perfect one.
You know, back to fun.
Yeah, because.
You know, cartoonish art, kind of animation like, should be fun, right?
Well, remember when we grew up, like all the family, like Archie Bunker, it's like, that's it? You know, at our age, we still got that. I'm going to go off to, you know, Nicaragua. I'm going to go off to see Spencer in Portugal again. I've been to Portugal. But but yeah, we still got that freedom, but so many people are like, they're stuck into it, you know? They're sucked. Now, with everyone losing their jobs, they're seeing that was it really all worth it? The student loans and this and that. It's like, bye.
Yeah.
Like I did what's happening with the AI. We're all just going, but I'm not going to change. I'm like, hey, man, get someone else that can do it for $1, some kid, an AI deal. It's just cold. and or like the gift of the human hand is the touch. I don't know how Hammy would say it, but like music, you want to hear real music. You want to see, how to get from there to there, or to the world.
Yeah, because that has human spirit in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that has the creative spirit, and it has a heart, and yeah. I mean, there's obviously
I can't dance to the Antichrist music. Sorry.
And also the algorithm and the whole thing. It's just, it's a lot. But I mean, here it is, and we're trying to say, here's a man who creates by hand from his creative energies, and here's why. These are stories why these existed, or what was the motivation, what was happening at the time. Like, there's cool stories not only about the motivation of what it was inspiration, but also what was going on right then. Like earlier, you're talking about with Abraham, and you guys were in Beulah, and I'm just saying, like, or you know what I mean. Like, just it's cool to have a moment in time as well.
Remember that picture when you did that article in Water Magazine? There's me and Shamagan. There's Beulah, where they say that's a great shot.
Yeah. That was a deep dive to find that picture too.
Yeah, Holcomb had it. I haven't seen it.
I got a lot of stuff in that one from Richard Holcomb, who was just a gem of a human.
I called him to tell you.
It was incredible.
Yeah, because I remember you were asking me, and I always remember Holcomb always being there with the camera at Riviera.
Oh my gosh,
like Riviera didn't even break anymore.
He lived down in Bonsall, and I went down to go through his garage to like go for literally hours and hours going through. I told him, I'll come with you if I'll help, whatever. I put a lot of time and energy. And unfortunately, who I also thought had gems and didn't give me one, and was kind of not that cool about it. He passed away since, but I went to Fred Swagle's like 3 times. I went to the Sun Post and said, "Hey, Fred, I'm doing this article for Water Magazine," and he just kind of blew me off. And I was going, "I'll even go in your garage and help you find them," and he just shut me out.
It wasn't Fred's fault. He was. I wanted to do a book with Fred's stuff. Fred had signed some deal. And so it was like LA Times owned he was just a paid for hire. He didn't even he couldn't print his own stuff. So that's why Fred was always so, I love Fred. And so the same thing, we were just going, dude, he's got all the richest pictures.
Well, I'll tell you one thing he had for sure, was iconic early days Mariposa.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, can we just, I don't believe that LA Times owned all that or whatever. I'm just saying, like, he didn't say that to me. And if he would have, I would have said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that."
Yeah, he was.
He kind of blew me off. So it was kind of a bummer to me, just because I wanted to do in that piece, San Clemente, the cult. What was it called? San Clemente, the Cult of Personality. A 22-page piece about a 35-year retrospective. I spent 6 months of my life working on that. And, for Zeldo and Water Magazine, the whole thing was really cool. But I just felt like, I reached out to a lot of people. And who else who gave me, Guy Motil gave me the most amazing shot of Dino for that 2-page spread opening.
Guy
that
was great.
Amazing.
Guy was always taking the shots, too.
Yeah, and so, it was cool who helped, who didn't, whatever, it's all good.
Yeah.
But I just know there was a couple there that could have been iconic, and I would have dug through every photo in Fred Swagle's garage if I could have just got one from like early 70s of how Mariposa was, because we do probably feel like that kind of sung its tune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not what it was.
Well, it was a misto wave, and when it broke, it was just
insane.
Ridiculous.
Like, so good. We're still good, I think, is Salt Creek has Rights Off the Point. I feel like Rights Off the Point still gets that, because they don't have the erosion we have.
I was surfed when no one surfed Rights Off the Point.
Yeah, it's such a good wave. But, I mean, they don't have the erosion we have. We have the erosion from the tip of Killer Dana to Cotton's in this in this bay. Our stuff is just, it's not what it was. So At's around the corner, and they don't have the same kind of like, the sand is still, they have Big Sand Beach there. They have the point, but anyway, I know their wave heroines on the other side over there is good. I think that what has changed, I don't think Gravels is what it was. For some reason, I remember back in the day, and you guys would get Gravels a lot, right?
We're never going to talk about artwork. We're going to talk.
Let's do artwork. Let's go straight to Captain Kook.
Okay, that's on the same page. I don't know. Maybe I'm positive, but I'm negative. That's another, showing. That's the SS Green. That's Captain Kook, and he's coming to Hawaii where it's all pristine.
And tell us who really Captain Kook is. Who is Captain Kook? Captain Kook, right?
Yeah, Captain Cook.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Just want to
that's
make
it.
that clear for the audience. Captain Kook is Captain Cook, and Roy's rendition of
It's like colonialism and
Yes.
what they did to Hawaii and what they've done around the world, and so that's the beginning of that's why he got his eaten and chopped up and whatever else, because he played God. But that's my, and it was for Surfer Magazine. I think it was too heavy, but so it says on the bottom of like a cartoon, it says, Captain Kook, sir, the natives are so primitive they don't even realize how miserable they are. And you see him like eating fresh fruits and vegetables and surfing and just nothing but good energy. And you see those guys on the boat with rats and slaves and just miserable. And so they think, we have to civilize these guys so they can be like us. It's like, dude, I don't want nothing to do with being like you. So I've been like that my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's
And
that.
let me ask you this. Did you see, I think fitting into this, did you see Jason Momoa's recent series called Chief of War?
No.
God, I think you would love it. It literally is his passion project. Did you ever see a series called Vikings?
Yeah, I remember. I was gone for a while. I was living in Nicaragua, El Salvador. There's a lot of stuff where I was just.
Well, you could. I'm
People
just saying
look
you
at-
might have seen it since.
No.
Yeah.
But
But Chief of War just came out I don't know, a few months ago,
Yeah.
and it really is depicting Hawaiian Polynesian culture
gotcha.
before the
Yeah.
white men came.
Yeah.
And it's really well done.
Yeah.
And then in the later part, it's like I think 8 or 9 episodes.
Yeah.
And at the end, then I believe the white men did come. And I just think, it's kind of fitting. It's just, I don't know. It's just interesting
Yeah,
to me. So
yeah,
I
I
referenced
love-
that.
I love
so
all
if you get a
those-
chance to see that, I think you'd really enjoy it. But your piece, Captain Kook, I've always thought was really like, I like that when you do like, you kind of like you're cynical toward, like you're showing us
Oh, it's
something
satire.
that's,
Yeah,
it's satire. Yeah, it's
I
beautiful.
always say
I love art for
I'm
that.
just a smartass with that's
Smart ass with a pen.
yeah, exactly. I could like friends, we was a tough crowd. They'd pick on you, like, so I just go, oh, yeah? So I'd draw a cartoon of them and hang it on I think I told you about that last time, hang it on the fridge, and then they'd shut up, like, dude, don't, dude.
Yeah, because the pen is mightier than the sword, kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And that's what I feel like with your art. There's a lot of fun. Like I'm gonna say Highway 1. I feel like Elvis. I feel like Attack of the Killer Waves. But then we got Mother Earth. We've got Captain Kook. There's this way to be able to have fun, but at the same time laugh at ourselves, point the finger at
Yeah,
whoever.
it's like being a comedian.
Yeah.
You can cross a line where people are mad at it, but
It's like George Carlin vibe.
Take a joke. It's like, no, this is real.
Yeah.
It's telling the truth rather than someone preaching at you. It's crystal clear. It's like a diamond, like Brando said. It's like a diamond shot through you.
Yes.
But it's done in a way where you're laughing, but it's as real as it gets, rather than some guy yelling. So I believe art's like that. It's like, you can't draw that. I can draw whatever the fuck I want, pal.
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Freedom here to be an artist, to be an American, to be who you want to be and how you want to be it.
Well, same. I would get. They kill artists. They've been doing it their whole life. They kill political art. That's they don't
It's a
get
dangerous thing to do.
they don't
you
get
know?
the joke.
They don't see it as a joke because they're
Yeah,
too
'cause
busy
it's
seeing
real.
it as exactly because
It's
you're putting the mirror in front of them.
And people hang it up, and it's getting so a joke just
Shoved in their brain.
A joke just goes by, and
It doesn't sit on the refrigerator, that's for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's not looking at you all day when you're grabbing something to eat. But really cool background and story with Captain Kook. And let's talk about Johnny Monster.
oh, those are good old days.
Really, really. And this particular piece of art is so everything is imaginative with you. Don't get me wrong. But this piece, because, now we're talking about some, these are people we know. This is like taking it on a whole nother level because now, it's Johnny Monster and what they were doing. Let's talk about that.
Well, that was the same as kind of like the Slash Jordan, the Kid Natural deal, because that was in the comic books as Monster Island, and I made up this whole world, and that's what Monster Island was. That was when the bad guys came over to Indonesia enslaved all the people. That was going to be for the one. I was ahead of my time on that. The One World Order. They were making robots out of the monsters, which were just like, them Captain Kook coming over. Only these guys were like Nazis, and they were so the stuff they did turned these guys into monsters. But the other guys had a soul in them, so they wouldn't go all the way. So Johnny Monster rebelled and went across the way to Monster Island, where these guys lived. But they were the cool. He was a king before they injected him with all this crap. Anyway, it'd be a hell of a book. So I was writing this whole story in the comic books about that, and I go, this is too cool. I gotta, because Slash Jordan goes into Kid Natural, goes into Johnny. You don't know it's all connected. Mm-hmm. And I dealt with Hollywood and all those people, but that Hollywood creeped me out, and it's for a good reason. I could feel that I had the intuition of like, these people are weird. But anyway, back to Johnny Monster. So then totally. I got Dean Coleman to be the first singer for Johnny Monster.
That's an amazing one in itself.
Yeah.
Right? Dean Coleman so didn't you form Johnny Monster? Wasn't Johnny Monster totally, literally formed by Roy Gonzalez?
It was Monster Island. It was, and then Johnny Monster was actually the king of the Vegenesians that turned into a monster.
But I mean, in reaching out to Shane Anderson, reaching out to Sean Spencer, and reaching out to Johnny Fields.
Shane was that cool cat.
And then there's David Paskowitz, right? Who actually is.
Yeah, so I got all my friends, and then
didn't you kind of pitch them on making a band?
Yeah, of course. Sick. I wrote the songs.
I know, but I mean, I want the world to know that. The people that didn't know that probably don't.
Monster Island, baby. And then we get the whole concept. I dress them. Shane was hip. Mm-hmm. Shane got it. Spencer would do it over. He's like, okay. Dave was complete nerdball. We turned into the coolest cat in the world, Johnny Monster. Then when he got off stage, he was nerdy Dave Paskowitz again. But it was great times. I mean, I still have girls going, you hired me to be a go-go dancer. I did. So,
oh my gosh.
And like Cole's wife, they were all younger. It's like, hey, just pretend like you're a roadie. So they would get into the bars and seeing everybody, and it was great time.
It was quite a, I got to say, that band put on quite a show.
Oh yeah,
right, and then David Paskowitz is quite the showman. And,
he was
John
perfect.
Fields.
Oh, he's a monster.
An amazing
guitarist.
But
John was so shy. He was so shy.
The opposite of David.
Yeah,
right.
And I would go into that was so back in the day. I'd have to go all the way to Huntington, get the big reels of movies.
Yeah,
and so I'd have two movies planned. One, the old surf movies. And then I'd have the monster horror movies going at the same time. Then I figured out how to put the the Christmas lights where the colored, and I'd drop oil on them so it looked like that one pill makes you large. The 60s.
That's Grace Slick.
Yeah, Grace Slick.
And the Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah, and all that stuff's in the background when you
song,
see the.
Actually, yeah.
So. We were doing that, so you'd walk into the show and go, what the fuck did these guys eat for breakfast?
Yeah.
So that's when, then it was hilarious. So I'm in New York one time, and I go by, and there's a picture of Clint Eastwood on the cover of the National Enquirer. He's all pissed off, and it says, Clint Eastwood's daughter going out with punk band Johnny Monster. And there's all of them on the cover of the National Enquirer. With there she is.
Allison, was that her name? Yeah, Allison Eastwood.
Eastwood and Clint, and it was hilarious.
She was pissed off. She was with Johnny Monster.
Yeah, I call up Shane. I go, dude, I'm in New York right now. You guys on the cover? And he goes, I know, that's funny, huh?
He does have that voice too. Well, I mean, that was an iconic moment in the history of San Clemente, the creation and formulation of Johnny Monster, and your inspiration from start to go, forming the band, reaching out, the art, the music, the look, the whole vibe. And it was kind of like, it made me feel a little bit like, God, was it like the Munsters, or it just had this like?
That's what it was supposed to be. It wasn't satanic stuff. It was like monster. It was like Herman Munster, that kind of
Addams family
vibe, only with surfing thrown in. Yeah. So it was, it was just a big. Like I said, I threw everything in a blender and just
Well, that blended out and made smoothies for all of us,
Yeah.
okay? Because there was a lot of really kind of iconic shows that Johnny Monster did back in the day. I don't know, was it band like there was Sacred Haze was there, different times when different bands
I would make
in
up
town
a lot
were,
of bands because when that got burned out, then I'd call up Damien or remember Julie here. Julie, get over here. You're Sweet Polyester, and the name of the band is The Platforms. So we'd make that up. We made Goldfish
Julie Harris?
up. That's why I wanted to do a soul band right now because I think it's time.
I do
but
too.
I didn't do that for a while. But when I was traveling, I'd get some people, and I just have a concept and to see it grow, and I didn't have to be the guy. I just feel like I made
you just plant the seed,
made another
right, water it a little
creation,
bit.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Well, you've certainly done a lot of that around here, and I want to say too, giving reverence to things you've done. Like, I think a lot of the best parties, were back in the time when you were kind of putting parties together down at Lost Wind, and just different events, and your whole thing with the way you did. Always, you've really been into vintage clothing.
The cool thing is, it brought a lot of us together because I made up the rule, 2-girl rule, you fool. So. That you couldn't get the Harlows and all those guys would be down at Lost Winds for the Lost Winds beach party. So I had all my friends, at Salt Creek or Laguna, Nick I and those guys and KB and all the gang, Connors and everyone down at Gravels. And so if they come to the party, because I'd go to their parties and we want to get around, our crew.
We just wanted to do other stuff.
A lot of people just stayed in San Clemente.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm going to go see the Ramones in L.A. I'm going to. So the 2-girl rule, you fool, was for every guy you got to bring 2 girls with you
to the party.
Yeah, to the party. So when people are looking at people coming down the hill of Lost Winds, all these chicks are coming down like, what the hell's going on? So they're all stoked now, and they're not going to beat up the guys who are bringing the girls, and we do the same. When we go to we'd call up our friends, hey, we're going to a party in Dana Point, didn't knowing that they're the ticket for us to get in. So that's how everyone got along, like, meet at the villa. It's like, we're not all, why do we hate each other?
We don't.
Yeah.
Well, we thought we did, but we really didn't, because by the time the villa happened, we kind of all were like, feeling
villa.
out, like, hey, what's up? We were all cool. We were all the same.
And think about how long that's been.
Since the villa, I want to say that was the early 90s when it got done in.
Yeah,
so
but I mean, as far as those parties, that
ago.
Was like, we're doing
that was
right
at least
in the
that.
80s. So, and
80s
I'm
and
still
90s,
friends with those guys. Well, how many years is that?
That's 40-something years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then here we are. I would say, now, moving on to another iconic piece, the Christian Fletcher piece.
Oh, that was some good stuff. I remember Christian and Herbie coming by, and Archie was already blowing up, and Dino was like Mr. Contest guy. And I'd already been through the whole contest, national champion deal, NSSA with Bud Lamas, and then Tommy Curran came in. But we were just, something was in the water here. We were a different breed. Like Curran was following right in how they wanted surfers to be, like step in line, and they're the same coaches we had. NSSA, Ian Cairns and PT and those guys, they had their little army they wanted. They're surfing, and to get corporate sponsors, they needed you had to be
certain
clean.
image,
And it was like, sorry, you're going to ride for me. Archie's just, a madman. Christian is Herbie's kid, so he's not going to be, straight edge kid that you can mold. So Herbie comes by and Christian, and I think I was living at the 204, the old pool we used to skate.
Oh yeah, right there by the stairs.
Yeah. Sorry, Tony Alva, but I saw Kurt Arrow and Ziegler get air on at that pool when all the Venice guys are claiming. It's like, we were doing the same thing. We drained that pool. But and I remember seeing Gary and Kurt I was skating it, but those guys were nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so where were we at? We were
talking about the Christian Fletcher piece.
Oh yeah, so Herbie comes by. He goes, Roy, man, because I was already doing stuff for Astrodeck. Roy, man, fuck, Christian's getting good. He needs a logo, man. I go, yeah, Uncle Herb, whatever you want. And Christian's there, hey, Roy. And so Herbie goes, yeah, make it like Hendrix and eyeballs and like flames and shit. And Christian goes, "No, Dad, make it like Slayer, like, and as Christian starts doing death metal, and Herbie's doing hippie, and
and
I
he's doing Grateful Dead, and he's doing death metal. Yeah.
And I look, I got it. I think I can put this together. So I did the Christian Fletcher, and that became one of the most iconic. What do they say in Surfer magazine? It's every kid's mother hated, and every one of your friends' T-shirt they would steal. That was He goes. Christian was the epitome of heavy metal meets surfing. He's even sponsored by KLAC, I believe. So anyway, that was that him and Archie were just blowing it up, and God rest.
Justin Robertson.
Justin Robertson, yeah.
Yes.
So I see his brother to keep all the time.
Kaleo.
What up, Kaleo? And
What up,
Ty
Kaleo?
and the boys,
yeah,
my boys.
I was just talking to Ty the other day, and Epsy, we're talking with Epsy, and
cool.
Who else just called? Sasan Fortuna. He just called.
I told you, I'd see
Sasan. And then I've just been really rapping out with
that's
just
cool.
the whole Maui boys, because I want to get Ty, I want to get all the boys come in here. I want to get Ty in here.
They stay at Joe's
sure.
Joe's place. So
when they come,
town,
they don't come very often. But anyway,
Ty.
So the Christian, I love it when you do Herbie's voice, because I think you do it really well, and I know Herbie gets a kick out of that.
Yeah, so I don't know about that.
I think he does. Herbie, we love you.
I'll do Dibby too.
Oh man.
Christian.
Now I might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But I think Herbie won't mind. But Dibby, that's not on me. Okay. But I do want to say I really would love it if Dibby and Herbie would come in and do an episode with me. I just want to throw that out there. Wouldn't that be so cool if I could have the
I used to do that just for fun. Go to what I do with Asterdeck just to get Herbie started on a story, and it'd be the all time like. I can go on about Herbie's stories that I heard.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
It's a whole episode.
Even how he met Dibby.
It's a whole episode.
Okay. Anyway, back to the wayward child. So that was he was all over the magazines. He got the cover of Surfer and the cover of Surfing, and so anyway, my logo started showing up everywhere, and it was like the most anti-establishment.
At the time, especially.
Yeah. And so that they hated it. It's like I told Christian Art, they hate us. They do.
Oh well.
They hate my art and they hate you guys. So we're gonna win this contest when, and that's when Archie won the one in Oceanside and Christian won the big one for Justin at Trussell's.
Yeah.
And we were on the map. No matter what, we were on the map.
Yeah.
And so that's where that came from. And then I did a lot more through the years of Archie and Christian and so that was the main logo I did, and then I did the El Calavera Surf and Christian because I'm Mexican. I just felt like doing it, and they're like, "What's this?" It's like, "Oh, it's this new skateboard graphic." It's just, okay, it's
rad stuff.
Anything
like
I
really
do,
awesome.
Herbie just stuff, go, "Okay, let's print it," and I always spell his name wrong. Christian and Herbie go, "Fuck, Roy, man, you did it again!" And we're at the trade show and it's printed up, and
How did you misspell Christian?
I don't know. I'm stupid.
Oh my gosh!
I misspelled everything. I misspelled Attack of the Killer Waves.
Yes, you did. You forgot one of the T's.
Yeah.
But
so
that's okay.
I'm not a speller. I'm a drawer.
But what's interesting is where we met was in an English class.
Okay?
Yeah. So by Miss Ibanez, right? So I just want to say it seems like a natural segue to me to go straight into the Archie stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Archie.
Because I want to say if there ever was a really dynamic duo, okay, I think that would be you and Archie. I think you guys really had a connect, still do have a connection, but especially then, and I just think you had a lot of love for what he was doing, and I know he had a lot of love for you, and he looked up for you. And even when we go all the way back to the Surf Spot movie, who's running around in the back? It's Archie there. I mean, that was kind of your boy, like so.
Oh yeah, he was shit. Nina would drop him and hug her, and Ronnie Del Oro. That was the Surf Spot was their home basically, and Dino would just come in occasionally and eat all the cookies. But yeah, that was the clubhouse.
It's funny because I talk to Dino every day, and he has such awesome memories of that particular.
Yeah, it was fun because
really fun times.
It'd be the coconut wire was fuck Hogan got so pitted at State Park. Fuck Dino just ripped the pier. Oh shit, you should have seen Archie at Riviera.
Totally.
Christian was blowing up lowers, and you'd know what had happened that day.
Way before the internet.
there was
Way
no
before
internet.
texting.
That was just like
We just
talk
knew.
on the town because you knew everyone in town. You'd be walking around. I'm going to, where are you going? Sonny's Pizza. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Oh, Piccadilly Deli.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right. Yeah.
Me and Red would walk down the road and you couldn't just get in on the road. Roy, what's up? Hey, Red, you need a ride? Now you'd go by there, they'll run you over. I don't know anybody. You know. So Arch was,
And there's a bunch of Archie
Arch came and saw me too when I was there. He's like, "Fuck, you can't die. Shut up." And I go, "Archie, what's up?" He's just such a character. So yeah, we had so much fun together. And Archie was, it was actually it's the kids that go off to Monster Island to discover it. They're on a surf trip, and Archie was the guy in the Monster Island book that Hollywood wanted. They all called me up. That was weird. Never happened, but I got ripped off big time on that. But oh well. What are you gonna
Little
do?
segue there. Hollywood ripped me off. What a real surprise.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, I feel like in returning to the Archie piece and the Christian piece and all your pieces, is there some sort of real theme that I think really comes through in your art? I think
Well, Archie, they both went pretty hard, and I blame myself as far as, but then again, that's who we were, and so we made it out the other side. I almost didn't, so, but
I mean, all this Archie work we're going to show, there's so many different pieces. They're all
that's
so
one
classic.
the one where he's going straight up. That was for his movie poster, but I forget what happened. I think it might have been too. It was supposed to be for the movie. It's that
for the Archie movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and you, remember, we called up what's his name and said, "Dude, have a happy ending."
That was gnarly.
It was like that was
yeah.
not good. It's like, no, Archie is alive. He has a kid. He's
Totally.
married.
There was so many.
Yeah, so that was good. We did that, and then they rechanged the movie for a happy ending.
So
that shows him, the angel, the little innocent kid, and then the devil, and both sides are stringing up
battling
apart.
back and forth.
But I'd always have to do them like with Astro Deck. I'd have to draw them, per Herbie, back in the Lanty days, Astro Boy days, and then I'd draw them for different logos, so I'd always have Christian and Archie. I've drawn those guys so many times, Surfer Magazine, a picture of Christian, an iconic. I think I did an iconic logo one for him too, for his boards, but I don't even know where that is. But you think you have a lot of those?
We do have some really, really cool Archie stuff, and the art that you've done, and I just got to say, I mean, it's so awesome because when you take these kids that grew up around here, I think it takes it to such a personal level. I mean, it's great to do Elvis. Don't get me wrong. All these people. I want to say this. We picked, I don't know, I think at the end we're going to show 9 or 10 pieces, right? There's hundreds of pieces that you chose that we kind of all talked about, you, me, and Alex talked about, which would, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just want to make it clear, like, this is really difficult because there's endless amount of your pieces that I would love to talk about.
I didn't know what to pick out
it's
at
so
all.
hard to pick, but we did, and I think we picked a really cool bunch to talk about. And I think the last one I want to say and bring up is the new piece that you did for what we're doing here on Talk to the Doctor. I pitched you this idea that I had in my head about Leonardo da Vinci's piece of work called Vesuvius Man. And this is even what's more cosmic about it is on the day of that, you told me the story that you got a call from Donna, your sister, who was actually at Leonardo da Vinci's house in Italy, and she was looking at that piece of art.
Yeah.
All on the day when I pitched it to you, and you're going, KV, whoa.
It was somewhere famous in Italy where that was the actual piece.
I mean, I'm just saying. So I have this feeling that I want to do this piece for my show about this, take it from that, and I pitch it to you, and in a second, you look at me, go, KV, I got it. And you just go, I got leopard skin, typical what you've always done for my characters. And I got leopard skin trunks. I got a stethoscope around your neck for the doctor. And then, you got the bushy hair, you got your crazy features or whatever you did. But then what was even cooler is you did a rendition. And then together we came up with the idea that, I'm pretty sure it was together we came up with the idea that because you had talked to me about it originally too. What about if one hand you have the Elvis mic, and then the other hand you have a bowl of fruit and veggies for your natural freak show? And oh my gosh, it turned out. I'm so amazed by that piece of work.
Glad you like it. That's
and
all.
And then
counts.
we gave it to Dave Alvarez to get him to kind of put some movement, move the eyes, get the tongue moving, get it talking. And then Alex came up with that at the end. right? Just my boy Alex right here, unbelievable. He had the idea to go, let's make it the end. He smiles and then ting.
Yeah.
And it was magic. I swear, when he added that, the whole thing, it was just like, and you were healing. So I was so happy to be able to show you that what we've been working on while you're healing. And then it's come out now, a new season to Talk to the Doctor. And I just want to say, that is, I believe, the 10th piece that we're talking about today. And I'm just so stoked because it's very current.
Yeah.
We've showed stuff all the way back from Highway 1.
Yeah.
That's literally moving on, what is that, 50 years ago? 45 years? 50 years ago till, I mean, this piece was done this year, you know?
Yeah.
The Talk to the Doctor. So I just feel
it
real
was
honored
done right
and stoked
before,
that,
that was right before Christmas.
right in there, yeah. So at the end of last year and just this year, we're kind of still finalizing it. And you've been healing, and thank God you've been healing. And I'm just so stoked to have you on the show and, you know, be able to tell the world that everyone's been asking how's Roy doing, and I feel real honored to say he's back, baby.
Hey,
He's
I'm back, and thank you for all my brothers and sisters. I've really meant a lot, and I still haven't even got online to even thank anyone. So this is great. I can, if anyone watches this, which I think you're getting a nice following now. But
thanks to being able to have people like you on my show, I think
I'm
following
going to put this
is
on
increasing.
Joe Rogan's show so I can hit more people.
Well, I'm not mad at you about
thank
that.
You.
Thank you very much, Roy. I love you, brother. Thank you so much for coming in.
Hey,
Man.
my pleasure,
Come on,
Joe.
man.
Right on.
Give me this game. There we go.
There we go.
Awesome.